Welcome back. A truck laden with blue metal lost control and fell into a temple tank in West Saidapet early this morning. Luckily, the driver managed to escape with minor injuries. Locals say the lorry rammed into the brick wall on the edge of the tank and fell into it. The Guindy Traffic Police are investigating. Income and wealth of religious trusts established for a particular caste or religious community enjoy income tax and wealth tax exemption under the present Income Tax Act and Wealth Tax Act. However, the definition of NPO in Clause 314 of the Direct Taxes Code Bill expressly excludes trusts or institutions which are established for a particular caste or religious community or which are established for providing benefit to the members of a particular caste or religious community. Thus, all religious trusts or institutions established for a particular caste or religious community will not be considered as NPOs and thus become liable to income tax and wealth tax. The status of partly religious and partly charitable trust is also not clear under this DTC. Tax experts state that the authorities have erred in drafting the said provisions. If the above mistake is not corrected, both the trust and institutions will have to bear the brunt of full taxation. This has raised a lot of concern for trustees and charitable trusts which aims at supporting the unheard or less privileged, and they want the present law to prevail.
Religion-based charitable institutions which are mosques and dargahs and temples and so on, all these people so far have been exempted from paying tax because they are performing a spiritual duty. Now, if tax is imposed on all these institutions, then it will certainly have an impact, and I think government will have to take into account the sensitivities of the people of all the communities, whether they are Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs, Jains, and so on. And if contributions made by these people to the religious denominated institutions is to be taxed, and all that money, donations have to be parted with for the government, obviously there will be a lot of heartburn, and also it is going to affect the number of people which these institutions are able to serve. So we will have to now find out the implications, and maybe after the end of full detailed consideration, we may have to make representations to the government to appropriately consider this.
The Chief Minister J. Lalita today has introduced vehicles that will monitor the transport and traffic bus in the city. Equipped with facilities like a road accident investigation system and a GPS system which will help these function as interceptor vehicles. The introduction of this facility comes within the Tamil Nadu Urban Development Project Fund of World Bank. The GPS facility will help in gathering pictorial evidence from accident sites for an accident inquiry and quicker access for ambulances and fire engines in reaching victims. This is also believed to aid hospital administering first aid within the golden hour. The GIS and digital interface in the GPS facility will also help in easing traffic congestion. The state transport will work in liaison to put an end to rash and drunken driving to prevent fatal accidents in the city. This would be done with the use of laser guns and breath analyzers. Private companies have together funded this specific program. The Prime Ministers of India and Pakistan met on the sidelines of the SAARC summit in the Maldives. Prime Minister Manmohan Singh and Yusuf Raza Gilani had a one-on-one meeting which lasted for about an hour, in which they spoke about trade, Kashmir and Sir Creek.
The Prime Ministers of India and Pakistan have said the next round of bilateral talks would be more productive and agreed to write a new chapter in the history of relations between the two countries. We have wasted a lot of time in acrimonious debate in the past. The time has come to write a new chapter in relations between India and Pakistan, said Prime Minister Manmohan Singh after the hour-long talks at Adu in Maldives. Pakistan's Yusuf Raza Gilani said he openly discussed all issues, including core issues related to water, terror, Sir Creek and Siachen. The two leaders met on the sidelines of the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, or the SAARC summit in Maldives.
On the sidelines of the Maldives summit, Pakistan's Interior Minister Rahman Malik told journalists that 2611 convict Ajmal Kasab should be hanged. He said he's a terrorist and should be hanged. However, he also said Kasab was a non-state player. 2611 convict Ajmal Kasab should be hanged. He said he's a terrorist and should be hanged. However, he also said Kasab was a non-state player. 2611 convict Ajmal Kasab should be hanged. However, he also said Kasab was a non-state player. 2611 convict Ajmal Kasab should be hanged. However, he also said Kasab was a non-state player. NDTV has accessed major portions of Shah Commission report that's probing illegal mining in Goa. The Shah Commission has found massive and large-scale violations. More than 50% of Goa's 90 operating mines have been found guilty of violations. The report also recommends a nationwide ban on iron ore exports till some remedy is found. Chief Minister Kamath refused and reacted to the Shah Commission report.
So just 2 seconds if you can...
No, I will not speak unless I see the report.
Okay, but broadly the findings of the report
I do not know.
are saying that there are large-scale violations
I do not
and
know.
corruption from top to bottom.
Since I have not seen the report, I will not make any comment.
Okay, but if we just have the broad findings, if we can just discuss with you what they are saying. See, they are saying essentially...
You have the report?
We have the broad findings with us.
I will not.
We have virtually all the details of the report.
Oral this I will not make.
The opposition in Goa is now demanding an immediate removal of Chief Minister Kamath after this report.
First of all, the corruption, I think they are establishing the corruption from top to bottom. I am not going into the bottom at this moment, but the top should be knocked off. Digambar Kamath should be removed immediately as the Chief Minister, because he has been mining minister for 12 years and he just can't escape the responsibility of the illegality, and he is completely sunk into the corruption of the mining. I don't think he is out of it. If you go into the actual investigation case to case, he will be part of the corruption. So he has to go.
The marathon meeting of the Unified Command in Jammu and Kashmir yesterday has accentuated the communication gap between Chief Minister Omar Abdullah and the army. While the army has dug in its heels and said withdrawal of the AFSPA from select areas is dangerous for the situation in Jammu and Kashmir, Omar Abdullah is bent on having his way. He said not withdrawing AFSPA is not an option.
No, I do have the authority. I have the authority. And I'm not saying I'm the elected state government of any state has the authority. So I don't think it is anybody's case, least of all the armies, that the state government does not have the authority. I have said that no is not an option that I'm willing to consider. So other than no as an option, you give me other options that are feasible and workable. And that is what I want those committees to examine, and then I'll take a look at.
The Governor of Bengal has defended Mamata Banerjee in the recent episode where the Chief Minister stormed into Kolkata police station. It was an unprecedented incident in which the fiery leader forced the release of 2 members of a party who had been arrested for rioting and arson. The 2 men were held after a confrontation with the police for bursting crackers outside a cancer hospital. The governor has, however, played it down, saying the Chief Minister actually prevented violence.
The Chief Minister went there because there was a major situation. She tried to, because there was a problem that they may have to open fire, etc. So she tried to defuse the situation. That's a simple matter.
Meanwhile, the India Aviation Regulator has asked Kingfisher Airlines to explain why it cancelled at least 80 flights over the past 3 days. As per the rule, airlines need to take permission from the Director General of Civil Aviation before rescheduling flights. The DGCA chief told agencies a notice has been issued to Kingfisher under aircraft rules. The DGCA also asked Kingfisher what steps it has taken to take care of the passengers booked in the flights cancelled. Sharad Pawar's Nationalist Congress Party, the ally of ruling Congress Party in Maharashtra, may go it alone for the municipal elections in Mumbai. But in the next breath, the NCP leader says the party is basically tired of waiting, but it still has an open mind. The powerful BMC handles a massive budget of Rs 21,000 crores every year. It is currently led by the Shiv Sena. The election is slated for February. The Congress and the NCP have not been close lately. Chief Minister Prithviraj Chauhan, after July serial blast, had reportedly said it was a mistake to give important Home Ministry portfolio to his ally. Earlier this week, Chauhan had suggested the political marriage was in need of counselling.
जहाँ तक दोनों पार्टीज का सवाल है, हमारे आपस में इतने वर्षों से साथ काम करने के रिश्ते हैं और उसमें ये बात आगे 8-10 दिनों में रखनी ये ज़रूरी है, क्योंकि अगर ये फैसला 8-15 दिन में नहीं होता है कि हम साथ में लड़ें या नहीं लड़ें, तो फिर हम अपने खुद के आधार पर लड़ने की भी तैयारी में हैं। इसलिए हमारा ये नहीं कहना है कि हम आज कोई अंतिम निर्णय ले चुके हैं, लेकिन इसका निर्णय जो भी कुछ हो जल्द से जल्द होना चाहिए.
Students hitch the right way. More on that when we return after the break.